Good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to share with you this webinar. It's something that I've been thinking about for uh, for a long time here, and sharing my expertise, my experiences with you all here, and the ones that we'll be listening to here in the future. This webinar for the NHT distributors is I'm going to be really talking about any network marketing, direct sales. On the whole, it would be a little bit of a generic type of webinar, a little different than what we've been doing on our weekly training calls. But why this webinar? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've had a passion as long as I can remember to help people raise their conscious level, to help them get to where I am in life and much, much more. I live every day and I have a question I ask myself all the time. How can I get this person to that next level? What do I need to do to help them see a bigger vision? How can I get this country to the next level? So I'm constantly asking myself questions to help people get a bigger vision, have people have bigger dreams, so they can manifest these things into their life. Well, I have had and been blessed. Um, for those of you who don't know me, I've traveled the whole globe. When I got started in network marketing, on a scale of 1 to 10, I was probably a minus 10. I needed a lot to learn. But one of the things that I had going for me, was a major thing for me, was my burning red hot desire. I would have done anything when I got started to be successful. I would have done anything to get to where I wanted in life because of the love of my family and because of what was growing inside me. I knew that I was a special human being, like all of you are here today. There is one message that I can give to all of you here tonight and here in the future, that God does not make junk. You can accomplish anything and everything that you set your mind to. You have everything available to you right now to succeed in your business, to succeed in NHT Global. If you're involved, I know we got a lot of other network marketers and other companies here around the globe that will be listening to us on our online here tonight. You can achieve anything. That next seminar, that next webinar, that next training, everyone, I know a lot of people are looking for that next breakthrough. How can I get to the next level? Maybe if I spend $1,000 at this Anthony Robbins boot camp for the weekend or go down to VJ, I'm going to have that breakthrough. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I believe in personal development, self-help. I work on myself every day. It's who I am. But that kind of mindset, just work with me here on this concept here. That kind of mindset will always have you waiting for that next webinar, for the next book, for the next training. What self-help and personal development is all about is helping you remember that you already are great, giving you some tools that you can use with the concept that you already are great, that you can get everything that you want right now, that you are a special person. So this is the message I want to give to you, the main message here tonight. But when I got started in my business here in 2001, one of the great experiences that I can give you in the last 12 years, it's actually, yeah, 12 years right now, is the places that I have visited. The world is changing very fast. Just look at what has happened in the last 20 years in terms of technology. In 1993, when I got involved in network marketing, 1993, when I got involved in network marketing, the fax machine was an amazing accomplishment, amazing technology. I remember when I got my first fax machine, I was so excited. Wow, you mean I can fax all over North America? That's where my team was at that time, and communicate with people. And here's what you needed to do back then: either you use the typewriter. Uh, I had a computer, but there was really no word at that time, whatever. So you had a typewriter, or you used your little word, your document thing that you had. printed it out, put it into your fax machine, and fax it out and blast it out to everybody. Network marketing companies, if you want to order product, you use the fax machine or call the 800 number. You wanted to get volumes from your teams, you had to wait at the end of the month and you get this printout report. There are also an opportunity where you can call into a number and it would give you just generic numbers of your team. That was technology back then in 1993. Just think now in the last 10 years, just in network marketing, what is available to going back to 1993 again, not to have a segue here, but 1993, the audio tape was the Sony Walkman was amazing technology where we can give someone a tape and learn more about the business. The VCR was another technology. We had these movies on the VCR. We'd pass it on to someone for them to show the business and see the business. So think about what we can do now of technology and network marketing. And I'm going to go into this webinar about what is happening globally in network marketing. And here in this slide here, things in the world are changing very fast. Obviously today, doesn't matter what industry you're in right now, if you don't have a global business model, you're being left behind. If you're not in business in the emerging markets like China and Russia and Brazil and India, and I'm going to go into that a little later, you're never going to play in the big leagues. And I'm going to give you some statistics here tonight that will blow you away on what's happening globally. How can I share this material with you? Well, there are very few people in network marketing today, business in general, that have traveled to more countries than I have had, that have been in the trenches, building in China and Russia and throughout Western Europe and Asia, going into people's homes, going into new markets, not knowing anybody and developing a business from scratch and doing that very successfully. And great thing about traveling for business rather than traveling for yourself, like you're going on vacation, is you start to pick up very serious nuances in what's going on in the world. Not with most people in North America. Most people in North America, or even in the Western Europe, for example, really don't understand that. And most network marketers really don't understand what's going around the globe, not just in network marketing, but in business in general, what is really happening. In 2000, when this company was being launched in 2001, I recognized what the internet was going to do for network marketing, what technology was going to do. I had a huge vision about global marketing, huge vision. But today, my vision is massive, massive because of my experiences around the globe. I've been to places, this is a great, in China, back in 2003, and Slovenia, these ex-communist countries. Slovenia, I bet you most of you don't even know where Slovenia is. Slovenia is right beside Italy, part of the former Yugoslavia, part of the Eastern Bloc in Europe. Going into Japan, massive market in network marketing, one of the traditional network marketplace in 2006, going in places like that. And, obviously going in Italy and pioneering all of Western Europe, and then going into places like Russia, former Soviet Union, the bad boys, and going into that market in 2008 and pioneering that market from scratch and seeing. And when you go in through these experiences, and I've gone to almost 50 countries now, when you go into these experiences, and I go back over these years, this changes you. It creates, for me, it's helped me become a better person. I remember when I first got started in the industry, and my mentor at the time and my business partner today, Dan Cattle, legend in this industry, he shared something with me back then. He says, Joe, the greatest personal development program that you can get on is when you start to travel for your business. There is no book, seminar, tape, CD. Back then there was no CDs. Whatever will give you the personal development than traveling into a foreign market. You know, at the time, you know, and I bet you many of you tonight are thinking about this and thinking, wow, how is that possible? How is that really possible? Well, when you go into a new market with a new culture, like I did in Russia in 2008, and that was a great story. This is one of the leadership seminars that I did. Previous to this one, we had an event at the Lenin Library, which was the staple of communism. It was incredible, very surreal being in that library hall. We had 700 people come to that event. You know, it took about 5 hours of pictures after the event. It was really surreal. And I remember I had a situation had to happen to me is when I got to Russia, you have to have a visa as a Canadian or an American to go into Russia. And my visa was expiring 2 days after I arrived. And I was supposed to be there for a week. So it was amazing. I'm doing these meetings and I'm thinking, oh my God, if I extend my stay, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go into jail. And to me, I thought, Joe, as a leader, you got to follow through with what you say you're going to do, no matter how difficult it is. Uh, and I made a decision that everything was going to work out. Everything was in that I was going to breeze through that week. We're going to create a monster of a business. You know, that was a defining moment in our company's Russian business. And now we've opened up in Kazakhstan, Ukraine. I can just imagine if I just left after a couple days and succumbed to my fears and think I was going to go into Russian jail and et cetera, et cetera. None of this would have happened. But I am so blessed with this experience. And I'm going to share with you tonight what I'm seeing globally now in network marketing. It just blows my mind what is happening globally in this industry. I call it the golden age of network marketing. We are going into the mainstream of network marketing. Can you think about, for those of you who are old enough, who had the opportunity to go into, you remember when franchises started coming around in the early 70s, and then it started taking steam in the late 70s, and in the early 80s, and then the mid 80s, it started going into the golden age of franchising. Thousands of franchises started to open up. You think about McDonald's, when people, the earliest pioneers of McDonald's, and then the ones that got involved in the early 80s, they're multi millionaires because of timing, ladies and gentlemen. They got in at the golden age of that business. Timing is everything in business, even more so because of technology today. Here are some statistics of what's happening in network marketing today in direct sales. You know that in 1998, this is around the time that internet started to take hold in North America, but it really didn't take hold seriously until 2002, 2003 in terms of the number of users got up to over 40% at that time. But you look in 1998, 81 billion, 81 $81 billion in sales. These are in billions of dollars of sales, US dollars. You go to 2007, 114 million. 2012, 167 billion. And get this, in our company, NH2 Global, China's our number one market. Number one market. Amway, Nu Skin, and NHT are the three biggest companies in China. We're the pioneers of the Chinese market. But the DSA does not know how much volume is being created. They can just estimate in China, but these are not Chinese, these don't include really Chinese numbers. So it's predicted now that it's closer to 200 billion in sales. Things are growing so quickly in network marketing around the globe. Again, massive opportunity. Here's an example of what's going on in terms of number of people that are joining network marketing and direct sales. Approximately 90 million in 2012. You know what's driving it, ladies and gentlemen? Is the emerging markets. Here's a little example of what's happening in the emerging markets. All countries that I've been to, except for Brazil, and I'm now pioneering the Brazilian market. China, 121% growth. Again, China is a communist country, so the growth could be even more because the statistics are not exact. India, 343%. Russia, 505%. These countries are growing so fast. And then you have the rest of Latin America and the rest of Africa that are catching up here in the next 10 years because of technology. So let me just share with you some of the experiences that I've had in these emerging markets. Can you think about this? If you're living in Russia today, let's say you're living in the Far East in a city called Khabarovsk, okay, which is in the Far East of Russia next to China. You can go to a map and let's say you're living outside of a village in Khabarovsk. Okay, more than likely your parents are living in that little town and village. More than likely your grandparents were living in that, if they were still alive, in that village. more than likely more than likely your great grandparents are from that area for generations, and you're probably doing what your grandfather did or in the same area. There's little, you're probably earning no more than three, four, $500 a month in sale and income in your jobs. Just a way of life. The hope to make any more money is very little outside of the business world. And this goes back to perestroika, before perestroika, and after perestroika, which has gotten a little better. Same thing in a little village in Brazil or a little village in China, which we've created. Our 43rd millionaire in our team came from Beijing, China, a woman that's been there for 7 years in our business. Scale of 1 to 10, she was probably a minus 100. She's joining when she started. She's joining Dan and I in Hawaii in a few weeks with our spouses. And here's a woman that after 7 years never made more than $500 a month because of someone like myself in NHT shared her business and gave her hope. So what's happening? And I'm going to go on this a little bit more in terms of what's happening to these people. So just think about it. The internet and technology has changed everything in North America, but it's changed more in the emerging markets. Technology now has allowed the Eastern world to catch up to Western world. What do you mean, Joe? What do you mean about that? What's really going on? So going back to my example with Russia, living in a little village, you're segmented from the rest of the world, very little connection with the rest of the world up until the internet, and you're on the. If you have family, you're probably going to use the phone, but it's too expensive. I can't afford to call back to my relatives, et cetera, et cetera. So you would just write. So now the internet, you probably have very little education. That's one of the advantages that the West had over the East for generations. Now you're in this little village in Russia, never made more than $500 a month. You're probably driving a beat down car. You're probably living in the same house that your parents, your grandparents, great grandparents are living in, same farm, et cetera, et cetera. And now you get on the internet and you're starting to learn. You get access to American movies. And now you can communicate for free to your relatives wherever they are living in the world. If you have relatives outside your area, now you get onto the internet and you meet someone like Joe Garcia, and you start to learn about network marketing, and you start to learn about direct sales, and you think, wow, this looks like a great business. I don't know Joe, but wow, incredible products. You mean I can go and market these products, which are made in the West, which in my mind thinks these products are a lot better than anything I can get over here. Okay, it's kind of like the Japanese cars in North America, where perception is Japanese cars are better quality than North American based cars. Is that true? I don't know, but that's the perception. Well, the perception overseas, they will pay premium dollar to get products that are manufactured out of North America, particularly products like beauty, particularly like products like health and nutrition, and the stuff that you see in network marketing. So you get these people getting on and they're raising their conscious level by reading. So no matter if they have a basic understanding of reading and vocabulary, they didn't, they probably, many of them probably quit school by the time they got grade 9 because they had to support the family, et cetera, et cetera. No help to go outside of that. Now they get in line and they're educating themselves in any topic. When you educate someone, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a proven fact, and raise their conscious level, powerful things happen. And when they join and look at our business and say, wow, you mean I can get involved in this business and I can make a lot more money selling a few products than I make in my full-time job. So now they become inspired and there's hope and they're willing to work 24/7 because it's their livelihood. This is why in the East they will sign up full time in most cases because they, with a little bit of effort, will make a lot more money just retailing the product than and then think about building a team afterwards. Think about that. And so I started going in these villages and working in the trenches. And I started showing people this presentation. You imagine the energy and their minds just started opening up and wow, it's wow in many cases. And then you had the people that thought, wow, what's this guy all about? He's trying to take our money and everything else. But when they start to develop and understand the business, great things start to happen for them. So just think about what technology I discussed in 1993 when I got started. Yes, I still have a fax machine, but I rarely use it. The fax machines are almost what I would call obsolete now, right? If you the telephone, you imagine for years my telephone bill were thousands and dollars. That was my major expense in my business. Now it's nominal because of things like Skype, because people are texting me, emailing me. So the forms of communication have changed dramatically. Anyone wants to get a hold of me around the world, they just text me or email me, and this is the way that business has evolved over the last 20 years. The greatest advancement in network marketing now, outside of reaching out to people outside of your own market and meeting with people all over the world, and I'm going to go into some of the strategies later. Just think about one of the major tools that I've used is presentations over the internet, like we're doing right now. I see there's a number of Asians on the call here tonight, just dialed into the webinar. There's other hundreds and thousands of people dialing in to the phone number, and they're watching and listening to a presentation for free right online. Wasn't possible 15 years ago. I can go on Skype. I went on Skype this morning into rooms into Ukraine, Odessa, Ukraine, which is a market we're opening up this fall. Odessa, Ukraine, there was 25 leaders in that room, excited to hear and watch me. I was up on the big screen. They could see me. I could see them. And bang, I did a presentation like I was in the room training for an hour. They gave me a standing ovation. It was like I was in the room. Imagine this. It was free. My translator was in Argentina, Russian translator in Argentina. I'm in outside of Toronto, Canada, and they're in Odessa, Ukraine. We take those things for granted. Unbelievable how you can build a business today and communicate. In 2001, I had a vision, but today the vision is bigger. And this is why I wanted to bring this webinar down to people so you can open your eyes on what is happening globally. The migration of people globally, the traveling. I would never have dreamed that I would travel to close to 50 countries. Never have dreamed to do that. You know that flights today are cheaper than it was in the year 1970 when you factor in the lifestyle compared to 1970. Do you know that that's cheaper? Travel is much cheaper because of technology. I cover the internet. I also cover the internet in terms of raising the conscious levels of people globally. standard of living in the emerging markets are growing fast. It's wiping out the middle class in North America. We're moving into an entrepreneurial economy. I've got kids that are 19, 21. They've grown up on my lap while I was building this business. They've traveled the world with me. I just got back from Hong Kong, brought my 21-year-old son with me. He's just finished school. He's deciding what his dreams are. And I asked him after the presentation training, I poured all my heart. I go, Kyle, what did you think of my training today? He says, Dad, I've heard it all. Ever since I can remember, I've heard that training over and over again for the last 20 years of my life, 21 years of my life. I go, okay, Kyle, thank you. And that's actually a blessing that I was able to do that all these years. And obviously, I've taken advantage, and this is something I saw in 2000. I've taken advantage of the ease of transportation of goods compared to what it was 20 years ago. So in the next 5 to 10 years, everything I've discussed here with you today about network marketing, I've shared with you the statistics, shared with you what's happening in the emerging markets, of raising the conscious level, the hunger of these people in the emerging markets to have what we've had for generations, that we've taken for granted now. We meaning North America and Western Europe. There is a shift going on, ladies and gentlemen. I go back a few slides and you see the percentage of growth in these markets. And they've got the people, these people are educated and they're hungry. As Les Brown says, they are hungry. And that's causing the Middle East, the middle class, to be pushed out here in the West because of the emerging markets. Don't be ignorant, ladies and gentlemen. Please listen. Don't dismiss me here tonight. I've traveled the world. And again, I'm not saying that arrogantly, but I've seen things that most of you have never seen. I've been in people's homes, synagogues, churches, meeting rooms. You wouldn't believe where I've been building this business and seeing what I'm seeing and just the changes in the last 7 years. More millionaires will be made in network marketing in the next 5 to 10 years. Think about that. We're in the golden age. It's an opportunity of a lifetime for those people that are positioned. I've taught my kids, you got to learn how to sell. You got to learn to be entrepreneurial. You need people skills to separate yourself from the pack. Even if you're a blue collar worker, you're more likely need to learn how to sell because of the competition. No longer competing with your backyard. Don't let the governments or the mindset that the government will take care of you. You look at the city of Detroit just went bankrupt. More cities are going to go bankrupt because of the society changes, and our leaders were not understanding what was going globally. The golden age of network marketing is now. And everyone says, as growing up, I wish I would have had a McDonald's franchise in the 80s. Or here in Canada, the biggest franchise that's been growing the last 10 years have been a Tim Hortons franchise. There's one in every corner in Canada. And for those of you Americans who don't know who Tim Hortons is a coffee chain like a Dunkin' Donuts. And now they moved into more of the food area recently. But just think, and many of you may be listening to this in 5, 10 years now and think, wow, I should have listened to Joe. One of the concepts of success-driven people that I want to share with you, one of the key concepts is average people, the people that continue to struggle with money, is they dismiss things. They go to a presentation, they love what they see, they feel great inside because their internal guidance system is saying, yeah, Joe, I want to get him. This is great. This is fantastic. And then they dismiss it. They forget about it. They dismiss it. Maybe it's not going to work. The negative thinking comes along. The universe gives you everything on your lap when you're focused on what you want. And it's too many times people, when they see a great opportunity, they say something that can change their life with some effort, is they automatically dismiss it. They're constantly dismissing things. The universe is giving it to them, they're dismissing it. They're not taking action. And just think what has happened in the last 10 years in technology. What's going to happen in the next 10 years? What we can do. That blows me mind. How many of you would think that we would be able to do this 15 years ago? Or what I would just share with you, go on Skype, free video right in someone's room in 3 different countries. Just think what's going to happen in the next 10 years. And network marketers, entrepreneurs like myself will definitely take advantage of it. If it's going to help our business, we're going to be the first ones taking advantage of it. You know that I was one of the first bulk emailers on internet before they called it spam. You know that internet marketing, it was network marketers that took that concept and ran with it, and then the rest of the world caught up. You know that video presentations in Skype, it was network marketers, that really made Skype in the beginning. Google AdWords, it was network marketers that drove that and made that popular. Websites, the health industry has been moved by the shift of network marketing entrepreneurs. Again, look back and think about what technology is going to do for us in the next 10 years as entrepreneurs. Speaking of technology, is 2 weeks ago, I'm flying over to Hong Kong on a jumbo jet from Toronto, and I'm doing a presentation on Wi-Fi. I asked the stewardess if I could do that. There wasn't too many in my business class there, and I was able to do a presentation, a testimonial on one of our calls. I don't know how. We're somewhere across the Pacific Ocean. That I didn't think was going to be possible. My first time, I was so excited getting on there. So how did I do it, guys? I'm going to move along here. How did I do it? I'm going to give you a 5-step program that I've used over the years that has developed my vision and to get what I wanted in life. And I hope, again, don't dismiss this, please. One of the key secrets to my success is when I was starting in the industry and I saw people in front of the room that were getting the great results. My thought process is if I did exactly what they did and how they did it, I would get the same results. I would never dismiss it. It's easy to do and easy not to do. And most people, average people, just dismiss it. They got a great idea, and they completely forget about it. They don't do it. They don't act. Continue going back to what they were doing before. So here's how this works. 5-step formula. First one is you need to write down exactly what you don't want in your life. Very surreal. Most people spend their whole life focused on their thoughts on what they don't want. When you get that on paper, there's a power that comes over you. When I first did that, it scared the hell out of me. It really scared the hell out of me. And I thought, wow, if I attracted these things into my life, I was scared. I didn't want these things. I didn't want them. So when I had them on paper, it really brought myself to be very clear on what I wanted, which is the second step. Is I wrote down exactly what I wanted in life to the T. Most of you who are on this line, I hope you're at this conscious level where you understand now that what you think about and what you focus on and put into action is what you're going to manifest into your life. If you're not manifesting anything in your life right now, more than likely you're not clear exactly what you want. It's not good enough to say I want to become a millionaire because most people don't know what a millionaire is. It's not good enough. You got to be very specific. It's not good enough just to be generic. You got to be very specific because the subconscious mind and the universe will get you what you want when you're specific. So, for example, if you go into a restaurant and you say, "Well, order anything on the menu, please," whatever chicken you have, whatever this, the waitress is going to be confused. And the same thing with the universe and your subconscious mind, which is connected to everything that is. If you do that same thing, you know, you're going to take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Third thing you need to do is you need to be very clear, very clear. Not only what you want, but clear in your life. You got to remove all distractions in your life. You got to remove anything that you're holding on to the past. Most people are holding on to negative emotions in the past when it comes to money, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to some kind of childhood drama. The, even though they may have consciously forgot about it, deep down inside in your subconscious mind, they're still living with it. All their decisions are based on that. And I'll give you an example. You know, going back to Dan Catto, one of the other strategies he shared with me, he said, Joe, the person with the pen is going to make the most amount of money. The person with the pen is going to make the most amount of money. I go, what do you mean, Dan? Well, the person that's in doing presentations, up in front of the rooms, doing the trainings, they're the ones always going to make the most amount of money. I said, Dan, I can't do that. He says, Joe, you got to do it if you really want to be successful. You know, a gentleman, uh, actually, he contacted me today, and I remember him calling me. He saw that I was growing well. I was developing my business really great in my early years. His name is Bill Dietrich. He was doing meetings in the east of Toronto. They were getting about a couple hundred people every week. He calls me, Joe, I hear you're doing really well. I'd like you to be the presenter for the next week. Before I said, sure, Bill, I would love to do it. And as soon as I hung up, I was terrified. What did you do, Joe? You're going to make a fool of yourself. And all these negative thoughts for that week was coming along. All those negative thoughts started to come. And looks like I'll just be here. Sorry, guys. It looks like I've got some background interference here. Hope that will go away. Anyways, guys, I called this gentleman up the day before, and I told him that I was sick. I wasn't going to do it. He knew deep down inside that I was probably lying. And that traced back to when I was a teenager in high school. And a gentleman came to me. I was doing a interview at school in front of a whole bunch of people, and I froze. And a friend of mine had to step in and do the rest of the interview. And during my life, early life, that's what created my fear of speaking in front of people. And when I realized at that moment that I was letting my fears get ahead of me, I knew where it was coming from. I got clear on that situation, and I made it happen. And I let it go. So this is what I mean about being clear. The fourth thing is that you need to get yourself in position of already realizing your dream in your mind. You got to feel it. You got to taste it. You got to experience it. So if your dream is a sports car, Porsche 911, go to the nearest dealership. Ask for a test drive. Go in there and start driving a car. This will help you get what you want faster. And then the fifth thing is you got to learn to let go. When you learn to let go, incredible things start to happen. You're using the power of faith, the most powerful force in the universe. When you know that you're on track and you're doing all the right things and you let go, don't force it, and you have faith that you're going to accomplish it, miracles start to happen in your life. This is the 5 steps that I've used when I'm going into markets, when I'm manifesting things in my way. And this is why I found a way to start building globally. Just look at any major city in North America. Again, I apologize for the background. I don't know where that's coming from. Every city in North America, for example, or in the Western world, you have all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of nationalities, and those people have contacts where they call back home. And I look back at how I started building my business. Most of our leads came from distributors signed up in North America and knew someone in these markets. I also started targeting cultures through ads, internet ads, and club associations. You know, we started Korea with a gentleman that was the president of the Japanese Board of Trade, you know, back in 2002, which I got a referral. So I started targeting these organizations that had successful business people. And one of the major methods I've used, and I still use today, I continue to ask people, who do they know in this market? Who do they know in that market? Who do they know in China? Who do they know in Hong Kong? Etc., etc. So I'm coming to the end of the presentation, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you really are starting to understand what's going on in network marketing globally. There are very few companies that are positioned now in network marketing globally. Obviously, we are, as a company, positioned very well globally. We're in all 5 continents. We're still expanding. We've got the leadership from Dan and myself that have the experience to go in and pioneer markets from day one because we've done it all over the world. And this is why, if you're in a network marketing today, company today, or in the future, uh, and you want to start building globally, it's critical that you surround yourself with business people and upline leaders that have a success plan globally, that have done it, that have kept the business. Surrounding yourself with the right people is a major issue in life. And I know it's difficult for a lot of you thinking, how am I going to go around the globe? You got to first start with my vision plan, the 5-step program. And then you do some of these things that I'm just sharing with you. There's so much others. I'm going to make myself available to other people in the industry that are connecting. They can connect with me and they want to learn how to do it in their company. They're welcome to give me a call or email me at yjoegarcia@aol.com. I'd be happy to help them. In NHT, I've developed a plan A, and I've also developed a plan B. And I'm not going to go, this is another training altogether, and we've used it effectively. We just started using plan B and testing it out. And this allowed me and Dan Cattle, many of our leaders, to go globally and to get into big markets like Russia and China and work through the issues. We were the pioneers, but in the next 10 years, guys, the future millionaires have not been sponsored in the companies that are positioned globally and do it right. And there's many ways of doing it right, which I'll again probably have another training on this. So my question to you is, in today's world, you see what the economy is happening. You've heard me talk about the golden age in network marketing. You've seen the statistics, the opportunities that we have globally in the emerging markets. And it comes down to this. If you don't build your dream, and it's more apparent today than ever, someone else will hire you to help build theirs. Think about it. And again, going back to dismissing what I'm sharing with you here tonight and these great ideas that I'm sharing with you, is don't let the small minds that you're surrounding yourself right now convince you that your dreams are too big. My question to you is what your dream is. Do you have it laid out specifically on paper? Do you carry it around with you? Do you visualize that dream every single day? Do you see that every day? And speaking of dreams, speaking of goals, if you go to my training site, steamteam.ca, go under first 90 days, I have a success system, I call it, in helping people achieve their dreams and their goals. So don't let small minds convince you that your dreams are too big. But before that happens, you need to have a dream. Try my 5-step system. Believe in it. It's worked for me and thousands of other people. Determine what you don't want. Put that on paper. Keep that around. Then determine what you want. Then you got to get very clear. Get all the garbage away in your background. It's amazing how much garbage that people have that carry it on their shoulders throughout life that affect their decisions, affect their future. You always have you ever felt that you've been struggling through life? Have you ever felt that you've been taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back? Good things happen, bad things happen. Have you ever felt that? I guarantee you, in most cases, you are not clear. You are carrying baggage with you that is affecting your future, affecting right now. fourth thing, experience your goal and your dream. Experience it. 20 years ago, uh, I was thinking about 20 years ago. You can imagine that my wife and I are having our 25th anniversary this year. Yes, I got married when I was around 10 years old. And I thought, what would be this is great, 25 years. What would be a great thing to do? You know, and I thought it would be great that we would travel to all kinds of places and enjoy each other and reflect on the years that we've had together and then just enjoy life and do that for a period of a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. That was 20 years ago that dream started. And my wife and I are celebrating our 25th this September, and we're taking off on September 9th, and we're doing a Mediterranean cruise. And that dream started 20 years ago. Many of my family, if I shared it with them, oh, Joe, that's going to be too expensive. Uh, you know, is that really worth the money? Don't let small minds convince you that your dreams are too big. I never let it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this helped you out tonight. I hope I expanded your vision. I hope I fed your mind as entrepreneurs on what will happen over the next 10 years. You're living in North America, you don't know anybody outside of North America, who cares? I didn't. Your gold mine is in your own backyard. This industry is exploding if you surround yourself with the right people that have a that a, that are great entrepreneurs that have a legacy of success in one company, not many companies, but one company that are focused in helping you reach your dream, and they're global. You are in the right place at the right time. Good night, everyone. God bless. Have a great night. I appreciate everyone for jumping on. Bye bye.